importantly, we're going to talk about this idea that might have been the worst tag team match that I've ever witnessed in my life. I mean, that was horrible. I've talked about this. I don't understand what Triple H is doing by throwing all of these tag teams into the ring at the same time with essentially no story. What are they in there for?
What is up, people? It is Tuesday, December 20th, and welcome to the Casual Wrestling Daily Podcast. I am excited to bring you all the latest news and analysis from the world of professional wrestling. Whether you're a hardcore fan or just a casual viewer, we've got something for everyone. Every day we discuss the latest matches and storylines from WWE and AEW. We'll be giving our own spicy hot takes on the happenings from the world of wrestling, keeping you up to date on all of the action. So sit back, relax, and get ready to dive into the world of professional wrestling with us. Now let's get ready to rumble here. Today we will be talking about the Raw and SmackDown. This is a special episode coming to you from Tuesday. Normally we are on every day, Monday through Friday at 5:30, but this holiday week we are going to be doing the show Tuesday, Thursday, and a special Saturday episode, so look out for that. Also, do not forget to check out our patreon.com/The Casual Wrestling Show and hit that follow button. And if you want to become part of the Casual Wrestling Bloodline, you can do that by becoming a patron for just $5 a month, like our current Patreon producers. It's Zinni and Ian Newberry, the Noobs. So let's before we start, take the time, hit the like button. It helps us get into the algorithm and helps build up the channel. So let's go. Let's start talking about some pro wrestling. I've been gone for a little bit, so I've consumed a lot of wrestling, had a little time to rest, been able to consume other people's content, got on TikTok a little bit, saw what the TikTok world was talking about, and once again, the TikTok world it is what it is. It is what it is. It's a community of people who claim one thing and do another. And the big thing on TikTok right now that I see going around is this movement for positivity. We can't be critical of anything. Basically, as wrestling commentators, we're not allowed to talk about anything unless it's super positive and sprinkling fairy dust and glitter and giving someone their flowers. We can't talk about anything negative. And the thing that I'm speaking about right now is the botch culture. There's this movement on TikTok right now to cancel botch culture, which I don't even know what the fuck botch culture is, but I've seen it. I've seen the movement. The movement is happening. There are people making videos saying that we need to stop addressing when botches happen on pro wrestling. Just calling for an end of basically criticism. And what this is referring to is anybody who watched SmackDown saw Top Dollar attempt to go over the top rope, and for whatever reason, he did not make it over the top rope, and it was a pretty obvious botch, as they call it. And he hit the ground pretty hard, and it made for a somewhat embarrassing match. Not that that's the only reason that match was embarrassing, but it made for an embarrassing moment. And so there's this subculture of people on TikTok who don't want us to talk about that. They want us, I guess, to either just ignore it or to just tell Top Dollar it's going to be okay. It's not going to be okay, bro. This is national television you're on. This is big time cable television you're on, and everybody saw it happen. And you either weren't ready to perform that move, or like you said, you slipped and fell, and accidents happen, and I get that. But Top Dollar, I think you would appreciate this. We're not going to not talk about it. We're not going to not talk about it. And this culture that's going around that says, well, just give him his trophy even though he fucked up. He fucked up. He'll admit he fucked up. I think he said his ankle gave out. I've been there, done that, had things happen, but we're going to talk about it. But more importantly, we're going to talk about this idea that might have been the worst tag team match that I've ever witnessed in my life. I mean, that was horrible. I've talked about this. I don't understand what Triple H is doing by throwing all of these tag teams into the ring at the same time with essentially no story. What are they in there for? Are they all trying to become the next tag team *1 contenders? Because if they are, it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all. You have like Phantasmo, whatever, Gagasmas, whatever they are, like Orgasmas is what I'm going to call them from now on. You have the Viking Raiders and you have Hit Row all thrown into a ring and just said, here, man, you got like 10 minutes of just go clusterfuck this up. That was terrible. That match made absolutely no sense. First off, I don't remember, and this just may be me, I don't recall the last time there was a triple threat tag team match where 3 guys were in the ring at once and the other 3 were forced to tag in, but yet in triple threat rules match, there are no rules. So why would you adhere to the tag team rules? None of this makes, like, from the moment this match started, I didn't understand what was going on. And we can't continue to give Triple H a pass for this lazy ass booking. Triple H is becoming the king of just, we need to get about 6 guys in the ring. Just put them in a tag team match. Triple H is the king of tag team wrestling, and that's okay. Like, tag team wrestling can be effective, but not when you do this kind of stuff. Not when you're throwing everybody in the ring like this. This doesn't work. And I'm not going to give Triple H the pass on this, and I'm not going to let people come out and try to dictate what wrestling content is by going, well, we can't talk about the negative things that happen. No, we can and we will. We definitely will call people out when they fuck up, and this was a definite fuck up. Top Dollar, that was embarrassing. Like, and just to be honest, that move doesn't need to be in Top Dollar's repertoire. He needs more effective big man moves. We don't need Top Dollar flying over the top of the rope. Save that shit for Montez Ford. It's impressive when he does it. It's not impressive when you don't clear the top rope, you get hung, and you spill out of the ring. Like, you either need to go workshop that and really, really perfect it, but don't just hit us with that in possibly the worst tag team match of all time. I was not ready for that. Oh, what else happened on SmackDown that we could talk about? Oh, okay, so we got some more Bray Wyatt. We got a little bit more Bray Wyatt, and it was good. It was finally good. I'm finally willing to praise the Bray Wyatt segments on SmackDown. I think that for the first time, instead of getting just a teaser, we actually got like a preview. Let's not kid ourselves. The last 4 months of Bray Wyatt booking has been like we've been fed teasers for the preview of a movie. Not even the full preview. We've been fed little teasers for 4 months, and finally something actually happened. And we got a trailer that we can now start to dissect and look forward to with Uncle Howdy showing up. And it was good. It was good. I'm not going to lie. LA Knight's good. Bray Wyatt's good. Everything that happened in that was good. It felt like a well put together segment. It felt like it meant something. It felt like it gave emotional attachment. It had personality. It hit all of the buttons that I've been talking about needing to hit that Triple H hasn't been hitting. This hit that. And now I don't know how much credit I'm willing to give to Triple H when it comes to Bray Wyatt, because it does feel like Bray Wyatt may be in control of Bray Wyatt's future. It does feel like Bray Wyatt may be conducting the Bray Wyatt symphony here. And you got to imagine, it's got to be hard to be LA Knight. It's got to be a little bit hard to work with Bray Wyatt because, number one, you don't get a ton of face-to-face time with him to actually let your character shine. So you're basically given just a moment to get in the ring and kind of set up whatever orchestration Bray Wyatt has prepared. Not to say that that's, Bray Wyatt, what Bray Wyatt's doing is not amazing, but if you're LA Knight, you have to be creative in trying to get yourself over. And I think LA Knight has done that in the most effective way possible. But I don't possibly see how anybody could come out of a program with Bray Wyatt and not feel like it was all about Bray Wyatt, because while you get to go in there and give 2 minutes of conversation to the crowd, Bray Wyatt then gets to come out and put on theatrics and sit down in the ring and laugh. And then Uncle Howdy comes out. And now the talk is not about, LA Knight cut a fairly good promo. The talk is about who the fuck is Uncle Howdy? And who the fuck is Uncle Howdy? We don't know. And so we're being teased again, or we got a trailer, but now we've got another 4 weeks of probably being teased on who Uncle Howdy is. And so, this long-term booking is more just teaser. Long-term booking is when we get 3 minutes of explanation every week. We're getting 30 seconds of explanation with Bray Wyatt. And I have a theory. I do have a theory about this. I think that Bray Wyatt's not ready to get in the ring. I believe that the reason we are being drip fed this story is so that Bray Wyatt can get into, I believe that Bray Wyatt's a little bit of a perfectionist. He doesn't want to get into the ring until he feels like he can put on an absolute match that is of the quality of the promo and theatrics that he puts on. And so if Bray Wyatt had gained any weight, or if Bray Wyatt was out of ring shape, or he was rusty, I believe that some of this drip feed is so that Bray Wyatt can get to a point where he can get back in the ring, probably at Royal Rumble, and be ready to go and put on a high level match with LA Knight, which I think they will. I think this will all pay off in the end run. I just think right now, at this point in time, this is moving extremely slow. And so it was nice to finally get some movement, but we're still moving at a snail's pace with Bray Wyatt. Even on the Alexa Bliss side, which I'll talk about in a minute, but we're moving at a snail's pace. Now, the rest of SmackDown, to me, was relatively disappointing. For the show I keep announcing as the best pro wrestling show on television, I don't think that it oversold this week. I thought that the initial little storyline with Xia Li was booked terribly. With her coming out and performing the sneak attack and then running off. And I thought, oh, cool. We're going to get another one of these kind of mystery who is it things that maybe plays out for 1 or 2 weeks, which is the amount of time that something like that should play out for. And then we'll find out who it was and it'll be a surprise and it'll be fun. No, what we got was 30 minutes later, Michael Cole slipping in. A lot of people missed it, slipping in that the attacker in the opening matchup was Xia Li. That's such a weird reveal. It's such a weird way to reveal that it's terrible booking. That's lazy and terrible booking once again by Triple H. I can't give this man the flowers and drink the Kool-Aid that you guys are drinking when things like this happen and we're just supposed to overlook that it happened. I can't overlook that happened. That was just the worst way to do Xia Li. And then you go, well, why isn't Xia Li getting over? Why aren't all these people getting over? I don't know. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's the fact that she did a pretty good job of coming out, keeping herself disguised, and she doesn't even get that pull your hoodie off moment to shock everybody in the audience. Instead, that means anybody who was at the show, anybody who was in the crowd had no fucking clue that Michael Cole had announced that. That's bad booking. It's poor booking. It's poor booking. Just like the World Cup. The SmackDown World Cup ended up just being weird promotional content for Fox, and it was poor booking because it led to the exact same match we had 3 months ago between Ricochet and Gunther. There was nothing different that happened in this match. Yeah, Ricochet may have looked a little bit better, but it was all set up. This has all been set up, and Ricochet was just used. You guys all jump on Ricochet and tell me how good he is and how he's revered on the SmackDown roster as like the second biggest babyface. But Ricochet was just a pawn in Triple H's game to get to Gunther versus Braun Strowman. I'm all good with that, but why did we need to go this long ass way and kind of punish Braun Strowman by not being? What doesn't that match make more sense in the final of the World Cup? Or doesn't it make more sense to have Braun Strowman win the World Cup, come out of the World Cup looking strong, and then face Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship in a match that we don't know which way it could go? That feels like better booking. It feels like better booking instead of this buddy cop movie that we're going to get because Braun Strowman came out and hurt Ricochet's feelings on Twitter. Now we're getting a buddy cop movie where Braun Strowman and Ricochet have to be best friends because Braun Strowman said something mean about him. Come on, man. This booking is so all over the place. It doesn't make sense. And then let's talk about Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. They are the second best tag team in WWE that is not named the Usos. And you've got Ronda continuing in the singles division when you have put together inadvertently the second most interesting tag team in WWE. And they're not going to go after the tag team belts immediately? What do they do? What is happening? Why are we so excited about Triple H's booking? He is missing. It's almost like he is overthinking the booking process. It's what it feels like to me. It feels like he is overlooking obvious stories that are just being handed to him. This is being handed to you, Triple H. Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, put them in the tag team division, have them take the belts away from Damage Control because they're not going anywhere, and have Ronda and Shayna have a long, powerful, strong, devastating run with the tag team women's champions while you build up some creative, some powerful baby face tag teams in the women's division. And then you have this big payoff moment either at WrestleMania or SummerSlam. But let's do what makes sense. Stop forcing Ronda Rousey down our throats for the SmackDown Women's Championship and allow her to be where she shines, which is when she's next to Shayna Baszler, she looks a lot more comfortable. And yet, here we go, another week of, yeah, they do tag team shit, but they're not a tag team, or they're not going after the tag team championship. It's bad booking. It's bad booking. And then we finish off SmackDown and we bring it home a little bit better. We bring it home with Kevin Owens and John Cena, or the announcement that Kevin Owens is going to have John Cena as his tag team partner. I'm all for that. This is great. This is smart booking. I think that Kevin Owens has gotten himself to a place where he is a superstar. And when you put other superstars next to him, it feels legitimate. This feels like what Triple H is doing a good job is making the bloodline more and more and more important. As we kind of get to this precipice of WrestleMania where we think it's going to begin to implode at least, he's doing a good job of starting to lift Sami Zayn, Solo, the Usos, Roman. They all look extremely strong and powerful, especially we'll talk about Monday Night Raw in just a second. But I think that Kevin Owens has to be that guy to kind of try to infiltrate the bloodline. And I think if you had to bring John Cena back, I'm glad they didn't bring him back for some stupid thing with Logan Paul that won't be talked about for another, 90 days. I'm glad they didn't bring him back to get in the ring with Austin Theory, which won't be talked about for another 90 days. This is an effective way to bring back John Cena that feels like it really, really means something. And ultimately, I believe the bloodline wins this match, and it starts to make it look like the odds are insurmountable for Kevin Owens as far as getting to Roman Reigns. And I like that. I like that. Kevin Owens is starting to feel like a real star. He's starting to feel like that upper echelon guy. I don't know how it's resonating as far as numbers go, as in ratings and things like that, but it's starting to feel like he is a superstar. Now, let's talk about Raw. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw, because I thought it was the better show this week. For the first time in a long time, I thought Monday Night Raw was the better show. And you guys remember, it wasn't last week or the week before that I said that the Bloodline were the only stories in WWE with emotional connections. Here's a simple way to make your show interesting if that's the case. Just have them featured throughout the entire show. So Triple H got it. He figured it out right here. This is what you have to do. The through line of the Bloodline weaving themselves throughout the entire show was perfect. That is how you write a Monday Night Raw that matters. By weaving your most important storyline through the entire show, that's how you do it. Having them beat up multiple superstars, having them run amok in the back, seeing Adam Pearce interact with the Bloodline multiple times and starting to feel like they're out of control. I even thought there was a possibility in a moment during Monday Night Raw where Adam Pearce could have come out And I think it would have been an effective way to split the tag team titles. He should have, because of the chaos that the Usos were causing, he should have come out and stripped the Usos of the Raw tag team titles. I thought that would have been an effective way to pull those tag team belts away from each other. Maybe we're headed that way. Maybe there's still a possibility, but this was the best Monday Night Raw, I think, from beginning to end that I've seen during the Triple H creative era. And that's not me doing the normal Notorious D overreaction thing. I do think this was the most effective Monday Night Raw as far as pushing storylines forward and kind of creating entertainment and making me want to pay attention to the whole night. Now, there were other highlights to Monday Night Raw that I think we're on track. The Alexa Bliss segment with Bianca Belair, we're on track. I will say, and this is a little bit of a flip-flop on my part. I love Bianca Belair, but the more I hear Bianca Belair talk, the less effective I think she is as a champion. It is starting to feel like, and I've said this numerous times, that Bianca is a better underdog than she is front runner. And when she talks and Alexa Bliss responds, there is a part of me that is starting to get that itch that you get when baby faces are being shoved down your throat a little bit. And I'm starting to get that itch where I go, I'd like Alexa Bliss to be champion. I'm ready for a title change. I don't know how effective this Bianca Belair run will be all the way to WrestleMania. Let's shake things up a little bit. It's time. Let's shake things up a little bit. Let's get the belt off Bianca and let's allow her to be the underdog again. And then I can probably get behind it again. But Bianca Belair front running, I don't love it. But I thought that segment was effective. I mean, the hitting her in the back of the head with the vase, super effective. I thought the Alexa Bliss trying to give the explanation that Bray Wyatt abandoned her, super effective. I thought all of that was extremely effective, and I enjoyed that part of Monday Night Raw. I thought the use of superstars in multiple matches was extremely effective as well. Look, if you have guys that the crowd react to, don't try to get 60 people on Monday Night Raw. Use AJ Styles and the OC as many times as you feel you need to get them over with the crowd and to keep the crowd interested. So Sami Zayn with AJ Styles was effective after the OC already had a match. I'm okay with that. And I thought that was a good match. I think they're attempting to build Sami up, which is a solid thing. They're continuing to build Solo up as an enforcer. That's a solid move. Everything about that was textbook good booking, building towards whatever we're building to with the bloodline. But once again, it's got the bloodline written in it, so it's kind of a cheat code to anytime Sami's in the ring, it seems effective. It seems interesting. I thought Becky and Bayley, I thought this was an interesting time to have that match, but I love it. I think it was perfect. We're talking about the 9-week lull that we're in between War Games and Royal Rumble, and I think you do have to sometimes play your cards early like Becky and Bayley. And I think that there were a lot of people complaining about the finish, but that's the finish that works because you can do this again. And you can build this up and make this big by letting them have a solid big match and then having it have that kind of disrupted ending. You're setting up for, okay, we could do this again. We can do this over and over again and it will be effective. So I like it. Nothing wrong there. I leave Monday Night Raw with a good taste in my mouth for Becky and Bayley. And then seeing the finish of the show, seeing KO and Seth Rollins get back in the ring together to get the band back together to go against the Usos. Once again, another effective means of booking. Now, I'm just going to take a moment here. I'll give you guys 5 seconds to apologize to me. I'm going to assume everybody who disagreed with me right there just said I'm sorry because Seth Rollins is a babyface. There is zero chance that Seth Rollins gets into the ring with Kevin Owens without any disagreements if he's not a babyface. Seth Rollins is a babyface. I told you guys keep arguing. When did Seth Rollins turn babyface? When that didn't happen. So many comments that I've gotten are, what is this guy talking about? He's not a babyface. He's still a heel. Now, Seth Rollins is a babyface. WWE has him marked down internally as a babyface. Kevin Owens going up to him and squashing the beef. Kevin Owens is a tweener. Kevin Owens is like a Stone Cold. He's in a babyface role, but he's allowed to kind of do whatever he wants. Seth Rollins is a baby face. That's what it is. And while it worked out while being in the ring with Kevin Owens, I still don't know if that's best long-term booking for Seth Rollins. We will see. But what I did notice is a toned down Seth Rollins. And that works. Seth Rollins can work as a babyface if he's just Seth Rollins and not the turned up to 11 character. The turned up to 11 character works as a heel. It doesn't work as a babyface. It's goofy. If Seth Rollins is just going to be, if we're just going to present Seth Rollins as he's just a extremely good version of Seth Rollins, it works as a babyface. But yeah, I mean, if you guys want to go ahead and just in the comments of this video, anybody who was a dickhead and argued with me, if you guys want to just go ahead and put down that you want to apologize, I will accept all apologies this week for telling me that Seth Rollins is still a heel. It's not happening. All right, let's talk about some wrestling current events here. Let's see where we at. I got pulled up. Okay. So neither John Cena nor The Rock is a sure thing for WWE WrestleMania 39. This is still fucking mind-blowing to me here. That we are 3.5 months out from WrestleMania, and you're telling me that you don't have these guys solidified and locked down? Now, it's a report. This could all be bullshit, but from what I don't know that Cena's locked down, because it looks like Cena has a movie or something around the time of WrestleMania. I don't know that The Rock's locked down, because at any point in time with all this DC stuff, and let's talk about The Rock for a second. The Rock is kind of turning a little bit into a heel in real life. Some of this DC stuff is not trending positively for The Rock, as far as like the calling out Superman and things like that. So he's got a little bit of heat in the real world, and so I wouldn't bet on this being a sure thing for WrestleMania. But if I was WWE, you have to. What is the contingency plans here? Because you've built up Hollywood to be this star-studded celebrity event, and if you don't, I think you want both of them. But if you can't get either of them, this is going to be a big time fail. Like, if you can't pull the trigger and get either John Cena or The Rock, I mean, there was a moment in time where we thought we were getting John Cena, The Rock, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. But if we're not getting any of them, or we're not getting The Rock and John Cena at WrestleMania, that's uncomfortable. That's scary. Especially with this other report that John Cena is moving tickets like spreading wildfire for the December 30th SmackDown. The tickets have just gone crazy. Like, Cena sells tickets. There's no doubt about it. The Rock will sell tickets. They will make WrestleMania a big deal. Logan Paul versus John Cena for WrestleMania is a big deal. We can try to act like it's not, but that's a big match. The Rock versus Roman Reigns will be huge once those two get into a ring and square off. Like, once they get into the ring and cut that first promo against each other, it's on. But if it's not solidified, especially, what did they say? January 15th was the cutoff date, or it was Royal Rumble or something, like, but that's pushing it close. I guess you have Cody Rhodes as the fallback plan for Roman Reigns, but like replacing John Cena's not contingent on fighting somebody. That's just contingent on him being there. That's interesting. It's an interesting report to read. Another interesting report to read is that NBC Universal is possibly looking at the options of buying WWE in the near future. There's belief that in the next negotiations for television rights, that Universal will make a strong push to buy the rights to SmackDown and get it off of Fox. That's interesting, because I think Fox seems to be pretty happy with SmackDown, and if you talk to most wrestling fans, SmackDown is the A show. So if Universal could steal SmackDown away from Fox and move it to an NBC channel, that is an interesting possibility. I still wonder what Disney's factor is here, because I think if Disney sniffs that NBC is getting hungry for this, there is a possibility that Disney thinks, we could just buy WWE. I'm not sure though. What I think is even more interesting is when we get to the WWE Network negotiations. When those come up again, I think that it's been extremely successful for Peacock, and it's been a strong arm of Peacock. And while streaming services are all the rage right now, I think that NBC Universal is going to take a deep look at the ability that if they could possibly lose out on having the network, there is a possibility they could buy WWE. And if they buy WWE, I don't think there's a big overreaction to this, because I think somebody like NBC Universal may buy them for the rights, but I don't think that NBC Universal wants anything to do with getting in and running a wrestling company. So I think it would just kind of be business as usual, just WWE owned by NBC Universal. But we'll have to see. Time will tell. It's interesting that it's always floated out there that somebody wants to buy WWE. I think part of the problem with buying WWE is WWE is such a relationship-driven business, right? How much value does the WWE have when you can't pick up the phone and call Brock Lesnar and have him show up? Because, the president of NBC Universal isn't going to get Brock Lesnar to show up. How important is WWE when you can't call John Cena, you can't call The Rock, you can't? That's such a friendship based, or what is the word I'm looking for? I don't know exactly. It's an emotional based business where there's so many friendships that matter, and relationship. It's a relationship driven business where, Vince McMahon or Triple H or people within WWE can pick up the phone and call Brock Lesnar and say, hey, bud, we need you. We're going to need your help. We're running through, we got a little bit of a problem here, right? Or, hey, Goldberg, we need you. Someone's hurt. We need you to come back. And that's all relationship driven. And while you can throw money at people, you can't deny that people like Brock Lesnar, there is there's an emotional partnership to some of that stuff going on, especially like with Vince McMahon having to kind of come back and tell like Brock, it's okay. You go do what you were going to do. I'll be fine. We keep the company moving forward. In other news, Xavier Woods wants to face Mia Yim after the intergender match on Monday Night Raw. Now, I didn't talk about this match specifically so I could get to it here at this point in the show. There was an intergender match between Tozawa and Rhea Ripley, which I thought was booked extremely well. I will say, I thought for Rhea Ripley, that's one of those moments where it was an oh shit moment. Like, they're going to let this happen. I thought Tozawa did a solid job of selling the match of, I don't want to get physical with a woman, but still allowing Rhea Ripley to look effective in the match and look extremely strong. I will say this. I will talk about this, and this may be an unpopular opinion, but intergender matchups are fun. They're fun to watch, but they cannot be overused. We cannot go, the floodgates are open. The crowd accepted this match. Let's have 500 intergender matches. And I don't think Triple H is of that mindset. I think Triple H understood the effectiveness of this match and goes, this is a one-off thing. This is a special thing that'll get talked about, but we're not doing it all the time. These matches have to be saved for special occasions and special people. And Rhea Ripley is special people. Don't get me wrong. Rhea Ripley is somebody who deserves that special treatment. But I can't get behind, now a group of, men's wrestlers lining up to face women's wrestlers just night after night. It won't sell long term. There will never be a day, and I don't care, what the 2022, how open-minded people are, but there will never be a day when somebody believes that someone from the women's division, even someone like Charlotte Flair, can stand toe-to-toe with like Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns. So every time you do this, it is, basically taking a step closer to that thought process. And I don't want that. Let the women fight with the women, and then let these special occasions happen where people like Rhea Ripley gets to show how talented and what an anomaly she is as far as women's wrestling goes. This was extremely effective, but it scares me. And I love Xavier Woods. I really do. He's one of my favorite wrestlers, but I just don't love this lineup to go like, I'm next. Let me do it next. Well, I understand that this is just Xavier Woods having an extreme amount of respect for Mia Yim and going, we could put on a hell of a match. You could, but we don't need it. We don't need it. What we need is more Xavier Woods putting on amazing matches. We need more Xavier Woods holding men's titles. We need more of that stuff. And if that's antiquated thinking, I don't really care. I do believe that when you save this type of thing and you don't overuse it, it's extremely effective. And it was extremely effective for Rhea Ripley. Other news, MJF and Enzo had a promo battle. Or didn't have a promo battle, but they had a back and forth kind of exchange where Enzo went on a radio or a podcast and made some claims about MJF that while some of them were true, they're a little out there. Enzo basically made some good points. He said it's easier to be a heel. It's easier to say nasty shit. It's easier to be offensive, which is all things I agree with. I think that if you're trying to get over with the crowd, it's way easier to get over as a heel as it is to make the crowd love you. And I do question sometimes. I anointed MJF the greatest or the best heel in pro wrestling right now. And while I still think he is the best heel in pro wrestling, I do question sometimes how effective other people would be if they were put into the same position as MJF. How effective would The Miz be if you took the shackles off? How effective could Seth Rollins be if you took the shackles off? If he was allowed to just say any and everything he wanted on national television or cable television, how effective would those guys be? I don't know. Like, I still say there's something about the AEW mentality of promo battles. This AEW mentality that, and Enzo is kind of talking about it in this interview, where you're out to destroy each other. Because I don't think people fully understand the magic of MJF. And some of the magic of MJF is that I don't think he's in business for himself. And that's overlooked. It's overlooked by a lot of people. When MJF goes out there and he cuts a promo, I think it's always... There's a side of it is to get MJF over, but there's also a side of it to move the story. I think he's always protecting the story and he's always protecting the company. And so he understands, and that's overlooked. He understands that this isn't a promo battle. Whereas I think a lot of promos in AEW are two people going out there to just shit all over each other. They just want to hurt each other's feelings. They want to hurt each other's stock. They want to move themselves up to the top. I don't think that that's an intangible that MJF possesses. Look at the Ricky Stark situation, and you have to be honest with yourself. MJF could have retorted Ricky Stark, but I think he saw Ricky Starks having the moment and he backed off and he played the bad guy. And he let Ricky Starks get over and he let Ricky Starks kind of have the win, the W as they say now. And I think that's the intangible that gets overlooked. When I say best heel in the business, it's because he's effective not only at getting himself over, but he's effective at getting the babyface over as well, which is what you don't see from a lot of heels in the industry right now. MJF is the most important piece of AEW, hands down. It's not Chris Jericho. It's not the Young Bucks. It's not Kenny Omega. It's not even Tony Khan. The most important piece of AEW right now is MJF. He's young. He's extremely good at what he does. He has a great wrestling mind, and he has all these intangibles that just most people don't understand. And so I guess the point of this was the article was that Enzo thinks he could beat MJF in a promo battle. I don't think so. I really don't think so. I don't think that at this point we've seen the best of MJF. I think we're still seeing MJF figure out what it means to be the main guy. We're seeing MJF figure out what it means to manipulate ratings. We're seeing what it means for him to put other people over, but promote himself. And I think that he will only get better and better. Look, if he's this good and this is his first title run, guys, I mean, we're in for a great MJF career, I think. I really believe so. And look, you can tell he's taking care of his physical aspects of his body and stuff. He's getting bigger. He will get, I don't want to say better in the ring, because I think I've been brainwashed by IWC to go, MJF can't wrestle. He looks fine to me. But I think that he will develop a more commercial style of wrestling that the crowd can recognize quicker. And okay, so last story of the day here is Kenny Omega has likely signed some kind of AEW contract extension, or at least had his contract frozen because he's now being promoted for dates that go past the original belief of the end of his contract. I think Dave Meltzer came out and said that his contract ended sometime in January or February. But let's be honest, guys. Kenny Omega's not leaving AEW. There was a time where I said that I thought Kenny Omega wanted to ascend and have that WrestleMania moment. After all of the media scrum stuff with CM Punk, it's blatantly obvious to me that Kenny Omega doesn't give a shit about that. Kenny Omega wants to be the sheriff of the playground, and that's what he is in AEW. He wants to run the show. He wants to be in control of what's going on. He wants to take care of his friends. And that's what's important to Kenny Omega. And he'll live and he'll die in AEW until Tony Khan finally gets fed up with that shit and decides he wants to run a legitimate wrestling company that's not run by executive vice presidents who wrestle in the company. Until then, Kenny Omega's not going anywhere. He is a AEW lifer as long as he's allowed to run around and do what he wants. And I guess that's, it just is what it is. You see it with these best of sevens. You see it with coming back off of suspension. It's business as usual. No real apology, no real feeling. It was just kind of we have to suspend these guys because they were a part of something that was a problem. So I guess, the moral to this is I don't think, I don't look at, he's not going back full time to New Japan Pro because he could do whatever he wants. Tony Khan has given Kenny Omega a free pass. You want to go make a video game? Go make a video game. You want to go wrestle this guy in Japan? Go wrestle this guy in Japan. You want to have a best of seven that makes no fucking sense and is so scripted out and every match looks exactly the same? You could do that too. You're the sheriff. You're the president. You're the vice president. You're everything. You run the company. What do you want to do? We'll do it. That's what it feels like with Kenny Omega. But that is all the time we have today, guys. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Casual Wrestling Daily Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed today's discussions and maybe learned something new from me. If you have any comments or suggestions for future episodes, please feel free to openly put those in the comments. I am open to suggestions. I am open to topics to talk about. Don't hesitate. Reach out. You can message me on, I have plenty of people message me on TikTok. I have plenty of people message me on Facebook. I don't really check Instagram, so don't do it there. I don't really check Twitter, so don't do it there. If you're going to reach out on TikTok, reach out on Facebook. And hey, man, just say what's up. I'm all about that. And don't forget to join us tomorrow, or it's Thursday this week, but from now on it will be tomorrow. So don't forget to join us on Thursday for more wrestling talk. Until then, have a great day, and I will talk to you guys on Thursday. Don't show that you gon' find. Tune in cause it's online. Hit them with a figure 4 leg lock, power driver, or clothesline. We bringing that heat like for show, but you should already know the Casual Wrestling Community Show. Let's go. Yeah, Notorious Nerdy D. Woo!